We know that you've worn out a lot of shoes, getting through a tough primary, the type primary that you had. So
Yes.
you've worn out a lot of shoe leather, and you might talk about the fact that you've been asked, after a very long and distinguished career, that you've been asked to run for elective office again, and you've answered the call, to your community, and you certainly don't have to do it, but you're inspired to serve, and I think that's another important thing is letting our viewers know the importance of service, because we have so many people that say, I don't have time, but it's important that everybody give something in terms of building community.
Well, I think when I served on the California Public Utility Commission, I learned that you can get something done. And, I always felt before that it was probably a hopeless case. But I think most people today believe that, one congressman or one senator or one legislator just can't do that much. But I just think that the ability to serve and the satisfaction in serving is a benefit in itself. And I certainly enjoyed my six years on the Public Utility Commission. It motivated me to run for state treasurer when I ran against Phil Angelides. And he was an incumbent, so everybody said, Conlon, you're crazy. There's no way you can come close. Well, up till 10:30 at night, I was ahead on election night. And I wound up with 41% of the votes, which is almost 3 million votes, which is more votes than Hillary Clinton or Barack Obama got when they ran for the Senate. So, I mean, it was a great satisfaction not only to serve, but to run. The process itself, it's a very satisfying experience. So that's why I was willing to run. The party wanted to have a credible candidate in that district because previous candidates sometimes were a little embarrassing without getting into the details. They were a little embarrassing to the party. So at least I won the primary and was able to get into the general election against Jackie Spear, my opponent, who's a classic liberal. I mean, I don't think she would deny it. I mean, she and Pelosi are the two of a kind. I mean, they're very liberal, they're very attractive, and they're very wonderful women. I have nothing against them personally, but I'm just saying their policies are far to the left, and my policies are moderate and conservative. And I just think I took some polling data in the district, and it's amazing to me to learn that 2/3 of the voters consider themselves to be moderate, conservative, or very conservative. And in a district that's known for being very liberal and electing liberal candidates, that was really a surprise to me. So I think that my policies and my platform, which we can talk about if we have time, are more consistent with that viewpoint, the moderate, conservative viewpoint, than hers are. But convincing the voters that and getting the voters to know who I am will be the big challenge.
So why don't we actually talk about some of this? Some of the topics that seem to be very popular at the moment are the economy and taxation and energy. You have some things you'd like to accomplish in each of those areas. So let's hear it.
Well, I think the three main issues that I'm running on is really the economy, the energy, and the war, and Iraq. I think Iraq has taken a back seat in the last couple months, but I mean, up till then, it was a very divisive position. And just to cover that briefly, I mean, my opponent wants to get out of Iraq immediately, regardless of the consequences. And I just feel that, we've been in there a long time, we've lost a lot of lives, and it's got to be for something. And I think that something is to have a Middle East that's stable, that's not going to get a bunch of wars if we walk away between Iran and Israel or between Iraq and Iran. I mean, we got to provide some stability there to justify and to support all the people and the effort and the lives that have been given to make that war successful. So I'm very supportive of leaving Iraq not with haste, but with honor. So that's my position on Iraq. On the economy, I'm for balancing the budget without increasing taxes, and I know that's a tall order, and a lot of people don't think it can be done. But I think based on my experience at the California Public Utility Commission, we were able to cut 10% of an 800-person organization without decreasing the services. And, it was almost like smoke and mirrors, but we were able to do it without significantly having any layoffs or any decrease in service. So I don't know whether it was fat or what it was, but we were able to do it. And the staff was able to do it under my guidance, but they came up with the answers. I didn't. So I just think that government can cut back. I mean, 5 or 10% cut. You know, when FDR was elected in 1933, he cut every expense across the board 25%. And they did that in 36 hours. I mean, they had 25% unemployment. They had complete chaos and anarchy in the streets of the United States. They had to do something. So they balanced the budget in 36 hours by cutting 25% across the board, and including veterans' pensions. So, you know, it can be done. It's a matter of the cause being worthy. But I certainly think we can cut our expenses by 5% from last year without significantly diminishing the services or without significantly having to lay off a lot of people. And if we have to go 10%, maybe there is some pain. But if the gain is that we're going to strengthen the dollar, get our oil prices down, our gasoline prices down, it could be worth it. So that's my view on the economy. And I think that in this particular district, my opponent.
And you might outline that district.
The district is really the northern 2/3 of San Mateo County and the southwest corner of San Francisco, the Sunset District.
And this is the congressional district?
The 12th Congressional District.
12th Congressional District.
And it's Lantos' old district. And Jackie Spear won the special election in April for this 8 months. But I tell people she's just warming the seat for me. So, but that's the district. And if the tax cuts that were implemented a couple of years ago, which are going to expire in 2010, are not renewed, the average family in San Mateo County would pay $4,000 a year per family because of that tax increase. And, you know, it's just, to me, it's just unheard of to impose that on the middle class society in this district. So I would vote against it. I would vote to extend the tax cuts and not increase taxes, and certainly not the $4,000 that they're talking about.